Hello, I'm Jody Wolf and you're watching Expoz. It is September 11, 2018. It's 9:41 p.m. Birmingham. And topic is, can God do a surgical strike with a hurricane onto a selected group and not hurt anyone outside of that? Everyone says, you're crazy. No such thing. Well, there is a such thing, and I'm going to prove it to you. If you go to Deuteronomy and chapter 9, verse 1, read the story about the walls of Jericho. These walls now were 45 to 60 feet thick. Yeah. And they were as tall, 45 to 60 feet in height. But underground was another 10 or 12 feet of these walls. Well, God also said that to the Jews, when you march around the city the way I tell you, and then on this day you blow your trumpets, the walls will come down of that city. Every wall will fall. And like it was with the temple, not one rock will lay upon the other. Well, Ron Wyatt told Henry Groover a story about the walls of Jericho. Now, we know in the Bible that one woman in that whole city asked someone that would they spare her. She was a poor woman. She didn't have anything. And that angel, via God, you lay a red thread out your window. And when these walls come down, your house will continue to stand. These are massive walls in total height, 60 feet high. The width at the top was wide enough for 6 chariots side by side. And people are saying, yeah, this is 6 acres in size. Baloney. Forget 6 acres. I mean, you'd have to have a wall nearly touching itself on a circle. But when the Jews did as God told them and marched around that city a number of days and then blew their trumpets, the walls came down. They came down so hard, literally, you can't tilt over a square wall. It'll just land on its side and you still have a wall one way or the other. No, these walls came all the way down, flush to the ground. And not only flush to the ground, they were scattered. You could not see one block on top of another. Except that one woman, her house still stands today in that location, exactly where it was the day that the rest of the walls came down in that village. How did that happen? That's a surgical strike by God. Massive walls, but yet one tiny structure remains and remains untouched. And just like we go refer to the Twin Towers, and I hate to talk about that in New York, about that one tiny church that was untouched. The only thing that got on it was dust. That one tiny church above these giant towers that came down. Church was not touched. One tree in the yard of the church was broken. So yes, God can do a surgical strike any way he pleases. And that's why I said that he can take this giant hurricane and use it for just that, a surgical strike. If it's a hurricane created by our government disobeying God by don't take anything from my people, leave my people alone. If we interfered with that, then this hurricane is going to hit us full on. And it'll hit us the very day that that meeting is scheduled, the very day that they will sit down at that table. Think about that. Remember that. And if we are not going to do that, or if we withdraw from that, this Hurricane Florence will dissipate and not make it to land. The only other way, parts of the hurricane will be used to take out those in our government that's hell-bent on destroying our government, starting with Donald Trump. I can see that. I don't know what's going to happen, but there are some ideas out there. One of them is the truth, guys. Jody Wolf, Expoz.